I just got my first job offer and I'm so grateful that I've chosen computer science as my degree now. This is what it says. Hi Calvin, your background in software and design could be a great asset in a fast-paced environment. Chipotle is looking for
I need to change my major from computer science ASAP. This cybersecurity shit ain't it.
Yeah.
What's your major?
Computer science.
Oh,
Why?
shit. Here you go, man. Sorry, bro. That's all I got.
I'm coding for 6 hours, and I haven't even gotten one method done, and I feel so stupid.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, man. Today we're talking about computer science and how it's been one of the worst decisions a lot of people think they've made going through college and going through life. And if you're new here, my name is Dixon Zor, and I talk about weird stuff on the internet that you might be interested in. So today, let's talk about computer science and the whole degree market right now. And at the end of this video, I think we're all going to understand a lot about computer science and how you can use it in an effective way and why it's actually not a bad decision to do this degree if you do it the right way. Now, the reason why I got interested in this video was, first of all, looking at all the TikToks I have seen, it's been insane. Everybody is talking shit about my major. And I'm like, well, I want to actually do some research. And then just scrolling through Google and things like that, I came across this article called Learn to Code Backfires Spectacularly as Comp-Sci Majors Suddenly Have Sky High Unemployment Rate. Looking at myself as someone who is unemployed, hopefully I have an interview today, I might get a job, but as someone who is in that boat, I'm like, yo, I have to take a look at this article, and what they said actually made a lot of sense. It looks like the Learn to Code push is backfiring spectacularly for those who bought in, as Newsweek reports recent college graduates who major in computer science are facing high unemployment rates alongside the increasing probability of being laid off or replaced by artificial intelligence if and when they do get hired. Now, this is a big thing with the computer science degree. If you do get a job, which is almost impossible to, you have to be Einstein to get a job in this field. If you do get a job, you have that risk of getting laid off. You have that kind of insecurity with your employment, which kind of brings in the question as like, is it worth it? If you have to do marathons of leak code, sit there and be an absolute degenerate mentally, like starve yourself of any social interaction just to get a job, and then 6 months later you get laid off. All of that, it just doesn't seem like it's worth it. And a lot of people are looking at that and putting that in the media, and people are looking down on computer science as, you know, something that they might have not done. In its latest job market report, the New York Federal Reserve found that recent CS graduates are dealing with a whopping 6.1% unemployment rate. Those who major in computer science or engineering, which is similar, if not more specified, are faring even worse, with 7.5% of recent graduates remaining jobless. Comparatively, the New York Fed found, per 2023 census data and employment statistics, that recent grads overall have only 5.8% unemployment rate. Now, recent grad overall have a lower unemployment rate than computer science and computer engineering, which is insane. Guys, y'all remember 20 years ago, everybody was like, yeah, what's your major? Boom, I'm a computer science. Hey man, dang, you about to make a lot of bread easily. I'm seeing people coming out of college computer science like before 2020, guys were already lining up with 6 figures, and I'm like, yo, all right, I'm just gonna lock in, be smart as hell, get my degree. I ain't gonna have an issue. Like, you don't have to get a master's with it. It's not that difficult if you believe in your intelligence. But then boom, here we are, your boy's struggling. Everybody's struggling. And I think all these numbers with the unemployment rate going up in computer science and computer engineering specifically, it shows how much the market is reacting to the advent of AI. Right now, the pendulum has swung from computer science high to computer science low, and it will swing again. That's going to be a theme of this video, okay? Computer engineering had the 3rd highest rate of unemployment on New York Fed's ranking, while computer science had the 7th, which is a precipitous fall from grace. I don't know if I'm saying the word right. We've overproduced degrees without addressing seen how exploitative and gatekept the tech hiring pipeline has become. Entry-level roles are vanishing, unpaid internships are still rampant, and companies are offshoring or automating the very jobs these grads were trained for. Guys, that is a very big statement. A lot of these degrees in college are just trying to get people to pay money to these universities. We got to understand it is a business at the end of the day. But what can you do if you are someone who wants to make something of themselves? You have to get a degree in order to do that. Everybody has one. So if you don't have one, you have to be literally better than everybody else. So it's hard. Even if you're better than everybody else, having a degree just helps you. So you have to kind of pay into this scam, this thing that's get kept from you. And when you do all that, you pay all the money with your time, your effort, and everything. You still are in a position where you're exploited by these companies. You're exploited by these unpaid internships, guys. It's just freaking insane. And they're talking about people offshoring jobs. That obviously makes it hard to get a job. But what I would add to that point is, even if you offshore jobs, especially software jobs, to places like India, it adds a lot more risk to your entire company structure, right? Because communications walls are between you and those people across the world. So that's not something I would say is a big problem for computer science students. If you got your computer science degree, the country that you're in will be the country that ultimately decides how effective that degree is going to be for your long-term success in this world, bro. Let's just be honest. Every kid with a laptop thinks they are the next Zuckerberg, the finance guru behind Michael Ryan, blah, blah, blah. But most can't debug their way out of a paper bag. Now, here's the thing. That is both true and wrong, because a lot of kids can become Mike Zuckerberg, I don't know if Zerk, let's just say that, in this current stage of computer science, because you have AI, right? You have means to create product with just yourself. You don't need a whole team anymore to build an app and deploy it. You have so much more resources now in the tech world that you can do these things. If you're creative enough and if you're driven enough, you can go very far with computer science right now. We are engineers and we're going to engineer our way out of engineering. I think that's the beauty of this field that we're all in, and we got to take that and embrace it, right? We can definitely be the next Mark Zuckerberg, and that's very, very much a possibility. But another thing stated, right, was we can't debug our way out of a paper bag. That is a huge problem with the current computer science market, right? A lot of people are just getting the degree and not knowing how to code. The amount of people that just cheated their way to degrees is insane. That's like hiring a doctor who literally didn't do anything doctor related in college but got the doctorate degree. And that is very possible with computer science. So you can see why companies are very wary to hire these people.
Okay, believe it or not, there are actually so many computer science majors that graduate without actually knowing how to code. And this is an absolute pandemic that plagues the CS community. Okay, I'm just kidding. It's not that serious, but it kind of is a little bit of an issue. So I'm going to be going over why this happens and how you can avoid this. This happens when people don't end up prioritizing internships throughout their college career and they end up losing out on that very valuable industry experience. On top of that, there's a lot of academic integrity issues that happen in a computer science degree where someone else writes code for someone else, which may save them in the short term. They're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, you're a lifesaver. But it ends up screwing them over because this happens. They end up not knowing how to code, not knowing how to do the project. It just kind of snowballs from there.
That's a big thing with any major, guys. You don't have to be a computer science student or recent grad to understand this. As a recent grad, like, I am learning so much more about coding just being out of school. It's weird. And that's why I don't blame all of this on students, right? Like, it shouldn't be that easy for you to cheat. That is a testament to the education system, the way the education process is formed in this country right now, which we're going to come on to after this segment. But he's completely right there. Coming out of college, if you don't know a lot of things, it's going to hinder you so much in your journey. You might think, oh, I just got to get this homework done. You're thinking short term, because long term, bro, you're going to struggle. And also internships, bro, those are hard to get. You can't just expect everybody to get an internship. That's hard to get. in today's age.
And one more last thing that can cause this is when people don't want to do self-studying outside of their college courses. If you genuinely want to learn how to code, usually putting in the work inside of a classroom is not sufficient. You also need to do a lot of self-studying and put the work and hours in outside of the classroom. Which leads me on to my next points of how you can avoid this happening. Number one, put a lot of effort into your school assignments. Number two, put a lot of effort outside of your school assignments and learn some new tools and technologies. And number three, don't get stuck following tutorials and copying other people's code all the time. You need to practice writing code of your own. You guys got this. I wish you guys all good luck.
It's hard to sit here and kind of tell you what to do, but what this guy literally said throughout this video is what I've been doing, and it's helped me a lot. Like, if you're struggling, if you're someone who got your degree or is pursuing your degree or is thinking about pursuing computer science and you're scared, or just any degree that isn't doing well right now in the workplace, don't be afraid, because once you start doing what the majority is doing, you'll get the majority result, and that is usually bad. You got to actually go in there, learn the thing that you're supposed to learn, put yourself in the shoe of the employer to get employed, because that's how you become a great employee. That's how you become a great person. You got to understand the other side, the other perspective. That helps you build your perspective and help you align yourself with the goals of the people that need you and your services. That is how you should carry yourself in college and even out of college. Be a self-learner, be a self-starter, try to build things, try to build projects instead of just sit there and do leak code. Make learning fun. If leak code is fun for you, go that way. If programming and building things is fun for you, go that way. Find what is fun and do it and be really good at it. That's how you're going to actually get a result somewhere. Now let's talk about why we aren't choosing to actually learn these things. Because if you're someone that chose a degree or chose to go to college, you're intelligent in some way. But why are you coming out struggling to get jobs? We can say it's the economy, we can say it's all that, but those are external factors. How about we look internally? What is happening with you, and how does the outside world impact that? Because internally with us, we're not learning the right way. And I think this guy, who is like a meme on the internet now, it kind of said it pretty well. Let's see.
I think the purpose of education is to teach people how to think rather than how to memorize it. What school teaches right now is convergent thinking. And so that means that there's multiple variables and one correct answer. Divergent thinking is when you have multiple variables but multiple correct answers.
So this idea of convergent thinking and divergent thinking is something that's kind of newly becoming shown a light on, right? Because you can actually just change the way you learn things, and it can help you actually be interested in learning new things and more about the subject. If everything is convergent, you get that tendency to be bored, because it's all about memorization. It's all about the information and not what you can do with the information. But when you switch it to this thing called divergent thinking, you put yourself in a state of creativity where you kind of want to create multiple answers to a certain problem instead of looking for the one answer. They both can be used in tangent, but that right there is kind of how people are losing the desire to really learn and do the things that are taught in college, will lead to them not being hired and having a very hard time to find a job, and that makes them not want to actually pursue the career that they chose to spend millions, not millions, hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a degree for, which is insane. All right.
What's interesting about that is that you can also have multiple right answers and some answers that are more right than others, which becomes very difficult to grade, but also how the real world works. Yeah. And we're rewarded based on how right our product is and how we can solve problems using more creative methods than trying to converge on a single answer. Because if it's a convergent thinking process, for the most part, it's already been kind of automated and everyone can do it. You get paid for what you can think of in the creative box of like, what are other people not thinking of? And so I think that more of the education system should be around divergent thinking and divergent problem solving.
And this was actually prefaced in an article that I saw from the University of Texas, Austin. They actually said, the world is your oyster when it comes to divergent thought. No idea is too far out there. All ideas are open to consideration. In practice, everyone gets all their new and creative ideas shared out. To do this successfully, everyone needs to resist the urge to judge whether or not an idea will work. This is all about you judging yourself, mainly about ideas, because you never really trust yourself. You trust the answer that the professor gave you. You trust the grade, not yourself. Everyone needs to understand all contributions are welcome and have the trust that there will be a time for criticizing, organizing, and prioritizing ideas later. Divergent thought depends on all ideas being seen as equal with no good, better, best bad or worse, all that. Going through this can lead your team to consider more creative ideas and discover an otherwise undiscovered light bulb moment. Yeah, guys, divergent thinking is something I think a lot of people who are struggling with this whole job market right now can really dive into. I think all you gotta do, man, is believe in yourself and believe in the work that you're doing and let it shine. All right, wish me luck in my interview. Without further yaps, peace out, bye bye, subscribe.